Enlightenment is our sovereign birthright, to be attained in the here and now. It is the crowning attainment of the mystic life. I call this sovereign enlightenment realization. It is the understanding of what enlightenment is beyond abstractions, and the knowledge of how it is attained, whilst willing to endure the challenges which will reshape us to hold such illumination. This realization affirms our divinity, that we are responsible for our own salvation and liberation here and now. Without understanding what enlightenment actually is, the chances of attaining it in today's religious and spiritual atmosphere is almost impossible. The foundation of enlightenment is the human body, as the temple of light. The body is the alchemical laboratory which makes illumination possible. Without the human body as a launching pad, there is no enlightenment. The Indian poet Kabir wrote, "What you call salvation belongs to the time before death. If you don't break your ropes while you're alive, do you think ghosts will do it after?" The idea of enlightenment for most seekers is too abstract and vague, something we believe is reserved for certain spiritual people. But this is not the case. Once you dedicate yourself and really dive into enlightenment from the perspective of body, soul and spirit, and the cycles of nature, you'll begin to see what is really going on. Enlightenment is the bio-illumination of the body, attained by the abundance of fertility, saved and ripened in tandem with the 29 days of the moon cycle, from one new moon to the next new moon, which fashions an inner seed which ascends into the brain and sprouts into what will become the embryo of illumination. In Taoism, this is called the Sheng Tai, the embryo of sagehood. This whole process will only work if we're already turning toward the mystic path and have renounced the self-destructive ways which prevent the seed from being formed, thus preventing enlightenment. The heart itself will be tinctured and quickened by the unfolding quintessence, and will vibrate into mystical ecstasy, which liberates our entire nature into mystical union, which is the spiritual conception and new birth. It is where the phrase "virgin to all but God" comes from. After this glimpse into ultimate reality, the life force will be carried from the lower nature upward to feed the higher nature. This is also the process that creates the sage or the saint. The entire process of the mystic path is contained in a process that I call transmutation, transfiguration and transcendence. The body is a soul ripening and spirit releasing instrument, and depending on the tuning of the instrument determines what octave the soul is resonating on. The soul is either bound and unconscious in the lower octaves, or unbound and conscious in the higher octaves, or somewhere in the middle. Ordinary consciousness is the horizontal world where most of humanity exists. The mystics, sages, saints and philosophers are to climb the vertical world and attain to the higher octaves of consciousness and reality. Conversely, those who choose darkness over light descend the vertical into the lower octaves. The mystic path calls us upward, but before we can ascend, we must cast off all the longing for illusion, which keeps us bound to horizontal consciousness. The trinity of body, soul and spirit must be aligned, fused and liberated as a unity. If we do not attain enlightenment through the foundation of the body, we remain bound to it as a signature of concealment, lifetime after lifetime, until the alchemical work has been fulfilled. The process of enlightenment begins with the body, then the soul, then climaxes in spirit. Any phase of this unfoldment that is neglected will be the anchor that pulls us back over and over again. Therefore, we must begin to recognize the necessity of the body as that which holds the necessity of the soul, and the soul is what holds the necessity of spirit.